welcome to our mid-morning break room. Once again, I am here with Landshark Picker and Pittsburgh Anthony.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
And we have our Echo. We haven't had one of them in a while.
So. That's why I did it on purpose.
We'll give a few minutes for everybody to get their notifications. We don't have too many in chat here yet.
I just can't believe it's Friday already.
I know.
Oh,
I know I said that yesterday about Thursday, but dang.
Yeah, this week went by really, really quick. I'm looking forward to my weekend at the saltwater pool. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, I know.
That'll be fun.
I'm excited to see you guys go live there.
Yeah, poolside.
Anthony just wants to see you in your Speedo.
I do.
That's what it is.
I might wear one. I just might wear one.
Give us a warning if you do.
It'll be checked adult content.
Touche.
Yeah. What about y'all? I went out and I had to take my daughter to work, and there was one yard sale. Is all I saw.
I haven't even been out yet today.
And it was
we don't do too many yard sales here in Pittsburgh on Fridays. So unless there's like something like, yeah, especially this time of year, like yard sales are pretty much like dwindling down right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not going to go out of my way to go find something, but if I'm already out on the road, and I pass something, I'm going to stop. Same thing. I think there were only 3 this weekend in our area.
Gotcha.
Yeah, our yard sales are pretty much wrapped up too. You have a few of the lingers that are still trying to just hold out as late as they can in the season, but pretty much it's done.
Yeah.
Has it started getting cool up there weather-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's chilly today.
Yeah, our nights are dropping down to like 56 degrees now.
Wow.
So it's like,
I think we were still in the 90s here today.
We've been getting a ton of rain. It's all gray and gloomy outside today, chilly, wet.
We're looking at 96, 71. High of 96, low of 71. Currently 78.
I need to get south. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, you're so good at it, man. You want to say our good mornings?
Sure, absolutely. Let's see who gets the brownie points. Sandollar gets them today. Good morning, Sandollar, followed by Mary McQuain. Justin Jacobs, good morning, buddy. Kelly Mom Ward. Jamie Rump Stump Reseller, good morning. Just Be Kathy, good morning to you. DC Sales, the master of the license plate. Moronic Pest, Peddling Profits. Neville, good morning all the way in Australia. I'm guessing it's probably nighttime there now. That Marrakech 7, DMK Scrap Metal, good seeing you, buddy. Swamp Picker, what's up, Glenn? And Jim and Tara Carey, excuse me. John Jones, good morning. Looks like that's about all right now. If you're here, feel free to say hello. We'd love to greet you.
If Sandollar got the brownie points, how does she redeem the brownie point? Or they? I said it was a she. I don't know if it's a male or a female. Are those redeemable for anything? Do they have any cash value?
Tell you what, if you come to Pittsburgh, you can redeem that for a crisp high five.
Not more than one, just one.
Yep.
Nice.
You might be onto something there, because Destiny likes to bake. We should keep track of who collects their brownie points, and at the end of the month, I'll have Destiny bake a tray of brownies and send it to that person.
Nice.
I might be first.
I might have to rig it and make it be me.
All right. When y'all make brownies, do you like them hard or soft or gooey, or how do you like brownies?
I like my brownies gooey in the center, crispy around the edge. My favorite piece is the corner piece.
Yep, because it's got a little bit of. It's still a little bit gooey, but it's got that hard edge.
Yep. I want that not burnt, but I want that like crispy caramelized edge.
Yeah, where you can still chew it without breaking a tooth.
Right. That's my favorite brownie.
I can eat my weight in brownies. I love them. I'd rather eat a brownie over a cookie. And there's so much difference in a good homemade, versus just a store bought.
I like a thick, heavy brownie. I don't like a cakey brownie.
Same way. I don't like the fluffy.
fudgy brownie.
Yep. Definitely.
So, anyways, today I picked a topic: what's holding you back on eBay, Amazon, other marketplaces, wherever you sell. You know, everybody, not everybody does. I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of us sellers, you know, get out there. We're doing it because we want to make money and we want to make good money at it. There's plenty of $1 million sellers online, and I know a vast majority of us would love to be $1 million seller. Say, well, I'm a $1 million seller on eBay, Amazon, wherever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, we're not. Anthony, I know you would love to be $1 million seller.
No, I'm happy being $100 seller.
$100 a month is fine.
Yeah.
I would love to be $1 million seller. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I mean, am I happy with what I'm doing? Yeah, but there's way more room for improvement. You know,
Definitely.
but you know, there are things. Okay, say even if you have a realistic or reasonable goal, say you want to be a $100,000 seller a year, and you're not quite there. There's reasons you're not there, and it's, you know, what's holding you back from being whatever seller at whatever level you want to be. What is holding you back? And you know, me and Destiny have been talking about this lately, and that's why I figured it was a good topic, because
I like it.
Sometimes there's one struggle, sometimes there's many struggles. You know, when we first started out, one of the struggles was finances. I didn't have the revenue to turn over, you know.
Yep.
And like now, we're outgrowing our house. Space is becoming an issue. I think for a lot of people, time is an issue. If I had an extra 5 hours in a 24-hour period, that'd be great. And then sometimes people just aren't there because they're scared. They have fears to take gambles, or they don't believe in themselves enough to be like, I can be this seller, you know.
Yeah.
But they don't have that belief. So I was just real curious in the chat that, like, I know a lot of people have goals that they want to reach, but what do you feel is the biggest hindrance? What's holding you back from getting there? If I could be $1 million seller if I had more money, if I had employees, if I had better places to source. But
right.
Here's one that's not probably the most common answer: an able body. You know what I mean? Like, if
able body, yeah. Is there medical or physical limitations?
My body would cooperate for, you know, as much as I would need it to get to that level. That's probably the biggest hindrance for me, is just being able to physically do the demands of $1 million selling.
Right.
You know, sometimes I struggle with the level I'm at physically already. You know what I mean? So getting to that huge level without being able to fully rely on my body would be very difficult for me.
Yeah, I think there could be an everybody's got their own answer, you know, and we're always big on one size doesn't fit all, you know, kind of deal. Everybody's answer can be totally different for a totally different reason, you know.
Right.
I think just using $1 million seller as an example, I think if it was easy, you would see a lot more people hitting that goal. You know, is that an attainable goal? For some, maybe. For some, maybe not. You know, and I think talking about a goal like that, I know we've talked goals in the past. A goal doesn't do any good, in my opinion, if it's not not easily attainable, but an attainable goal. You know,
it's got to be reasonable.
Right, reasonable. Right, that's where I was.
It's got to be reachable. You know, if you set goals that are outside of your reach, that, you know, that's not good, because then you're never going to be able to find satisfaction in obtaining your goal.
Yeah.
You know, I would, you know, my goal, I would love to be $1 million seller. I hope to be one day, but my goal is not to sell $1 million this year, because I know that's not obtainable. You know.
Right. I hate to use him as an example because he's not here, and I don't want anybody to take this talking behind his back. Use Derek for an example. Derek has some physical limitations. He's got some sourcing limitations. He's got storage limitations based on where he lives.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it reasonable for him to say, I can be a $20,000 seller, a $100,000 seller? You know, everybody's situation is different.
Yeah.
You know,
and just so people in chat know, I I had talked to Derek yesterday. He's got some things going on in his life, so he's probably going to take a little break, a step back from the show to deal with his personal situations, and then he's going to see how it's going in a couple of weeks and review, and we'll take it from there. So, but he's not having any health issues. He's fine. Just want everybody to know that he's just dealing with some things that he feels is priority, which family's first, houses first.
For sure.
Real life over YouTube. Yeah.
What? YouTube is not real life. What do you mean? It's not IRL, or what everybody calls it. But so it could be a number of things. It could be, like you said, your mental health, your physical health. It could be your sourcing opportunities. I think the sourcing opportunities is the easiest one to talk about, because that's what everybody thinks. If I could only source better items, and then like you said, the finances, the ability to, like Anthony was talking about when he went to go meet Derek. If I go down there, I don't want to miss out on anything. I need a wad of cash to carry with me, in lack of a better word,
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's got different challenges in each one of those areas potentially.
Yeah. Well, I'm seeing here, we got some good response in chat. DC Cells says self-confidence, tech issues, and other responsibilities.
All very valid.
Yeah. Kelly Ecom Mom says time, procrastinating, and what's available sourcing wise.
Procrastinating. That's on my list for tomorrow, I think. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today.
Moronic pest. I never want to hire employees, so that's somewhat limiting. And I have kind of that same thing. I'm like, man, if I had some help, if I hired somebody, I could get a lot more accomplished. But yet it's so hard for me to turn over a part of my business and trust an employee to do it correctly the way I would do it,
Right.
And so then it's one of those things where if I'm going to have to keep changing or correcting, like say I hire somebody to draft and they do a basic draft, that's probably acceptable, but it's not up to my standard, and I go in and I got to edit, then I might as well just do it myself. Right. So why hire the employee? So I understand that totally.
That's why I have a hard time with people that push. You've got to have a VA. You're not getting enough done. You're so stretched out. You need to hire a VA. You need to get somebody else to do it. That is a prime example of one size doesn't fit all, and it has nothing to do with how big you are, how much you sell. I have a hard time with that.
Yeah.
Specifically for that reason.
DC Cell says she don't like the risk of RA. And peddling profits is hard to find good help. In our town, it's real hard to find good help. I've tried hiring a couple of people. It was hard enough to try to let somebody take responsibility for my part of the business, and then they just didn't really want to work. They'd come for 2 hours and they had an excuse they had to leave.
Right.
Or they were constantly on their phone. It's like, look, man, I'm not paying you to text your boyfriend. I'm not.
And I think that's the challenge with hiring somebody like that in that kind of role. That you're probably not going to pay them a whole lot, whether because they're going to be a 1099 employee 90 times out of 100. You're not going to hire somebody and bring them on as part of your LLC or your corporation if that's what you are. You're probably going to pay them per listing, per hour, something like that. And but I would assume that typically they're going to get to the point of, wow, this really isn't worth the money that I'm getting paid. Because you've got to consider as a business, how much can I afford to pay these people and still make money on the products that they're working on,
Right. And then you have to find somebody that's going to accept your pay. They're going to see behind the scenes of it and then not want to learn it and then just go do it on their own and drop you.
Yeah.
That's definitely a risk.
I learned how to do eBay because 10 years ago, I was somebody's lister. I was like the grunt work for somebody else, you know what I mean? And the money I was making was like minimal for the work I was doing. Like the guy who hired me, basically I went and did flea markets for him. If there was local pickups, I went and did that for him. I did all of his shipping, back and forth from his house to his storage unit every day. Basically doing the bulk of what I do now, only for pennies on the dollar. You know what I mean? So I did that for a summer, and I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, dude. I'm going to get a job. Like I'm going to get a full-time job somewhere, because this is, for the amount of work, it just wasn't worth it.
And I have a feeling that's a pretty common situation to run into.
But was it worth me doing it for that summer? Absolutely, because now I'm running my own business, doing what I did that summer.
Right. It was
really all it took was a bankroll, and I built that up, like I tell people all the time, just by selling stuff that was in my basement. That we'd moved out of our house for a year to go run a recovery home. We moved back in. I had stuff that was stored in my basement for over a year that we didn't miss or want. So I started my reselling eBay, I should say. I started my eBay store just selling that stuff off. And that was how I built my bankroll to be able to go source.
Right. Pretty cheap education, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I like this other statement here that John Jones says, hard to keep myself motivated to avoid slacking off without somebody else cracking the whip. Yeah. I struggle with that.
Me too.
I struggle with that myself, because there is nobody to say, hey, get back to work. Hey, I want X amount of listings done today or whatever. So it's real easy. I let myself get distracted and
scroll.
Okay, I'm going to run upstairs. I'm going to grab some coffee and smoke a cigarette. And then 45 minutes later, I'm watching an episode of Blacklist.
I know what you mean.
The biggest thing for me that takes me off task is YouTube. And it's not watching YouTube, because I can watch YouTube and work. It's creating YouTube. That tends to be the biggest thing that keeps me from being as productive listing. Because typically, if I'm sitting around the house, I feel guilty if I pick up my PlayStation controller and don't list anything. You know what I mean? Like I feel guilty doing that. So if it's a certain hour a day, like if it's at nighttime and I'm laying down trying to unwind, I don't feel guilty about it. But if it's like during like my wife's at work time, typically if she's at work, I need to be at work. That's the way I feel. You know what I mean? Because she's out there grinding, 60 plus hours a week to make sure that, we have food in our bellies, roof over our head, clothes on our back. So my thing is, if she's out there grinding, I need to be here grinding.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's just the way I feel. I'm not trying to like cast that upon anybody. Like you need to be doing this or that, because everybody's different. But for me,
it's probably easier like for you to get downstairs and do your work during the day. And then I know you said like when Ash comes home, that's your guys' time. You're kind of on a schedule. Mm-hmm. In my household, for instance, it's hard to be on that same schedule, because we have two kids that are homeschooled.
Yeah.
So they're not like up and on a bus corner at a certain time, and they're not gone till 2:30, 3 o'clock or whatever time it is. Destiny doesn't have an out of the house job. So it's kind of like we're just kind of on our own, do as we will type thing,
And that would be more difficult, because I know I can tell you for a fact when Ashley was home for several months having those surgeries she had, I got considerably less done.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So when she's home, I feel an obligation to be with her. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like
it definitely does.
Spend quality time to, when she was sick, like obviously I had an obligation to take care of her, that type of stuff. But I mean, I would say I'm lucky in the sense that my wife works a lot of hours and long hours, because it gives me the availability. And plus, we don't have children. I mean, we have 3 fur kids, but it's easy to take the break to go let the dogs out, to feed the cat, to do whatever, that kind of stuff that needs done. Plus it gives me an opportunity to stretch back. But
again, I'm here with Land Shark Pitcher.
Oh, did I do it again? Sorry. Twice in one day.
Tommy, but he's not moving his lips. What's going on?
I guess I moved my mouse over there. I'm sorry. You clicked on it.
Yeah, no problem. But yeah, it just it gives me that flexibility. So I know I'm lucky in that sense, to where I have X amount of downtime almost every day. Ash typically is only off 1, maybe 2 days a week tops. So that gives me a lot of time to be able to work. But by the same point, there's a lot of time where I need to not be working because I need to be spending time with her and not ignoring her, So,
I think something that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to doing this full time is the self-discipline that it takes just across the board.
yeah.
And that's something I struggle with. I struggle with time management and self-discipline. Those are probably my two biggest challenges, and related to this.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to anything in 3 days. Why am I off watching some YouTube show, or why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And,
Yep, exactly. So, I just wanted to address this. Them flipping crooters. She asked, is he still doing the races tonight? She's talking about Derek's Hot Wheel races. As of yesterday, he said that he didn't have that many people that signed on to do it. If he didn't get a few more, he wasn't going to do it. It wasn't going to be worth bringing out the track and everything for a handful of people. So unless people get over there and pick their cars, he's probably not. So I just wanted to address. I'm trying to go down the line here. Just me, Kathy says, I have no issues with sourcing, thankfully. Y'all can come source my house, garage, storage unit. Haha. I need to share.
Yeah.
Here's a great point, fishing and picking, and it's a great thought. It says, $1 million businesses are overrated. My wife is an optometrist with her own office. She made $1.3 million last year. After expenses and taxes, she only cleared $120K profit. Breaks down to $44 an hour. That's
yeah.
I think that's what's misleading sometimes. You hear somebody say, I'm $1 million seller. If you hear that a lot, 99 times out of 100, they're talking gross.
Yeah, absolutely. I use $1 million seller pretty loosely, it would just
right. And it's tough, a lot of things that people don't talk about is how much do you lose off of your sales that goes to a tax bucket where you're going to pay your income taxes and your corporate taxes, or it's not a huge amount, but you're losing a little bit off of every item.
Yeah.
Potentially to pay those taxes, unless you've got some write-offs and expenses that offset a lot of that, But
DC Cell says too. This is prime example. That's exactly how we got into vinyl cutting. Hubby worked for someone else and learned.
Yep.
And then he decided, hey, why should I work for somebody making this kind of money when we can do it ourselves and keep it all? That's smart,
Especially when you're putting in the same amount of work.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's common. Obviously some people just have that entrepreneurial spirit, thought process, brain function, whatever, where they just, they've got it from the get-go and they just jump out and they go. But I think a lot of people, I don't want to say they have a mentor or they're an apprenticeship, but they work in the workforce for a period of time. They figure things out and say, hey, I can just do this on my own. And it could apply to this. It can apply to anything,
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't want to think it's a progression that you're any better because you're an entrepreneur. God, I have so much trouble with that word, entrepreneur. Yeah, that too. Versus working for somebody. It's just, I think it takes a different type of person, a different personality, a different mindset, because it's not just I go to work, I get my job done, I get paid. If I get out of line, I got somebody cracking the whip over me like you were talking about earlier. It's, I don't think it's as easy as a lot of people put it out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
What's up, Nate? Good morning. Every day I'm hustling. How are you?
What up, Nate?
Nate Dog. So what else? What else is holding you back? I think sometimes talking about time, I think time is one big thing. Like Tommy said, if I had more time, I could get a lot more done. Obviously life gets in the way. You can only do work so long without cutting the grass or taking the garbage out or, going grocery shopping. I mean, we do have the flexibility to do those things, but the time we're spending doing that is time we can't spend listing or packing orders or, whatever,
Yeah, for sure.
But DC Cell says you have to make some lifestyle adjustments. It's hard to buy a new car. Yeah. I mean, you have some flexibility, but as you're getting started and before you really got your income, not income, your revenue, your stream of income rolling over a period of time, there are some challenges to financing, you know?
Yeah.
I would think. I have not had the need to do that at this point, you know? I'm lucky we've got 2 cars that are paid for and a mortgage that's already established, you know?
I was talking with somebody, and they actually had a fear of being successful at reselling.
Huh.
They
Really?
they have a disability. They're on Social Security for it, and they felt they could be a good reseller, and they felt they could make way more than their Social Security. They seen the potential in it, but they said, "I'm scared to do it because what if I am a successful reseller on eBay, and I give up my Social Security, and then I lose my account."
Yeah.
Or you have the quote unquote the summer slowdown or something like that.
Right.
I can definitely understand that.
Yeah, and they were actually scared of being successful for what could possibly happen.
Yeah.
So why even try? And I was kind of blown away by that.
How do you respond to that?
I see the reasonable fear, but I was like, wow, just to think that somebody has it, that I'm kind of stuck in this position to be safe,
Well, especially if you can't physically go out there and work a job. Because for me, if I had to go I couldn't stand for 8 hours. I couldn't even sit for 8 hours, you know what I mean, with the way that my back and hips are. So, like, for me, if I was faced with the reality of, okay, not YouTube, eBay is not working out, you know what I mean, I have to now go get a job, you know what I mean, it just wouldn't be feasible for me. So I can understand if they already have, their disabilities squared away, they're getting awesome health care, they're getting, paid monthly, and they're set for what they need. I fully understand that. I was talking with somebody recently that was in that exact position, and luckily there's people out there that can do both. You know what I mean? Because once you have your disability squared away, you're allowed to make X amount of dollars on top of disability. So, somebody's in that position. There's always a both and situation that you can't have. You just need to make sure that you speak to the right people and make sure you're not going to do anything to jeopardize yourself. But I understand that. Especially as somebody with disability, I fully understand where they'd be coming from, because in the back of my head, I worry about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, I understand it. Mm-hmm. It just sucks that people are put in that position, that I kind of just gotta take my disability and live month to month because I'm secure in my bills being paid, but I'm not going to be able to have the extra money to do the things that I would like or get the things I want, because I have to be insecure and just making sure I have what I need. It's kind of sad, it's sad to me.
It's like there's a lot of strings attached with, and I'm just throwing things out there, things like welfare, things like disability. I'm not saying they're in the same boat, but and I'm not saying they're handouts, that kind of assistance from the government, Yeah. We'll give it to you, but, and I can understand both sides of that. They're trying to keep people from, taking advantage of the system.
The problem is there's more people that take advantage of it than there are people that genuinely use it the way it's supposed to.
Right. Definitely. And I've got my oldest daughter has got some learning disabilities that I've talked about briefly in the past. And she's really struggled to keep she's 27, has never had a full-time job, 8 to 5. She gets very little hours where she works. Her psychiatrist, whichever one it is, suggests we try disability. And it's a challenge to get on disability, even if you have verifiable situations, whatever they are, physical, mental, whatever, And I think a lot of times that the initial response is you always get denied. And I've heard a lot of people have had to get lawyers to even get qualified.
Yeah. That was kind of where I was. I applied and I got denied instantly every single time. They didn't even look to see what, any of my doctors have written or any of that other stuff. They're just like, yeah, you're 34 years old, denied. What I mean? Like, it's just like one of those things that's like frustrating, especially because I live in a community. Like I've said it before, I live in the hood, so I see people all the time that literally they live off of welfare, they live off disability, and literally they spend their days getting drunk, getting high. Nothing against that, you know what I mean? In my younger days, I did a lot of that myself, but the fact is that they're abusing, what's set up to help people like myself that genuinely need it, that genuinely can't go out there and work, because I know a lot of people in the community that are on assistance like that actually go and work under the table too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's a lot like we were talking the other day with Joe about the managed payments. That all we had was negative, so everybody was very negative towards that. I think the same kind of thing with these type programs. Your mind immediately goes to those people that are abusing it. You don't think about those that are legally qualified or whatever for that help, for that assistance, for whatever you want to call it. But your mind immediately goes to that negative side, and it's tough. I feel the same way a lot of times, and I hate this, but I hate to call them beggars. Those people are out asking for money.
Yeah.
You look at it, and I don't know what the numbers are, but I'd be willing to guess 6 or 7 out of 10 are probably people that are out there taking advantage of that system. And that keeps me from giving money, and I hate to be that way.
I know that I'm pretty sure it was Donna. She was talking about on one of her shows the statistics of how much they can make per hour doing that. You know what I mean? And not that they'll be out there all day doing it. They typically do it till they can go and get a fix or whatever. Because one of the things I did with my ministry is we would go on the north side of Pittsburgh, downtown Pittsburgh, south side Pittsburgh, and we would actually pull those people off the streets and bring them into our recovery home. Right. And the number of people we encountered that genuinely wanted help was few. A lot of them were like, "Get out of my way. This is like, I'm making money here. Scram." There were people that genuinely did want money. You know what I mean? Like we had many different feeding programs. We would go and we would actually go meet the homeless people on the streets. Like they'd have like little tent cities we'd go into, and you know what I mean, feed them. Preach the gospel to them, whatever. You know what I mean? But there is a good number of people that literally are just doing it to make enough money to go get a fix.
Donna said it was her talking about how much they made per hour. She said $50 an hour.
Yeah.
Back in '92, I lived in Vegas for a couple of years, and I met this gal out there, and her profession was panhandling. She filed taxes on it. It was her job.
Wow.
And she went out from 4 to 6 hours a day, and she made good money. She drove nice cars. She lived in a big house outside of Henderson, and she would go beg during the day.
Yeah.
And go out clubbing at night. I was astonished. I don't know what she was making like per day or per week, but I know she was doing real well.
Yeah.
Down there, you can actually claim panhandling on taxes as a profession, unless that's changed since the 90s. But then she was actually paying taxes on it.
That's great.
Not talking about disabilities and stuff. There's a little bit of chat going on. Neville says not all disabilities are visible, and that's definitely true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Especially when you're talking about, obviously you've got both sides of the house. You got the mental disability, the physical disability, which the physical disabilities a lot of times are more noticeable.
Yeah.
But mental disabilities, that could be anything from depression to anything on both ends of that whole spectrum anywhere. It could be anything. It's tough. I mean, it's hard to see that our government is involved in determining whether you're disabled or not.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
could probably be your doctor, but who might.
Right.
I like what Gate City Picker said. Time and money are always easy things to blame. Time and money doesn't change anything if my fear and knowledge to build our business isn't there. That makes that kind of goes hand in hand with the fear of different fears, whether it's fears of losing a benefit or just fears that I can't do it, or the knowledge. Some people have the money, they have the time, but they don't have the knowledge to know how to buy properly, list properly. You know, what platforms are best for what products. You know, sometimes it is knowledge is a good thing too. Yeah, I just don't have the knowledge how to do it.
But I think that's kind of what overall as resellers on YouTube that we've built, is that network of people that you can watch, that you can reach out to. You know, I'm not going to say everybody's willing to help, but there's a large percentage of the people that are willing to help anybody in the community with anything related to knowledge. You know, and I think that's very valuable. And that being said, anybody that ever needs anything, you know, we've got our Facebook group that, you know, it's definitely growing. We're far from being big as some of these other bigger groups, but, you know, we don't claim that we'll have every answer. But I think we've got enough people that are resourceful enough to help somebody out and find the right answer for any questions that you got. Kelly says that I think the willing to learn can hold someone back. So many people want to be spoon-fed on what to sell instead of learning what sells. And I think that's a big key, you know, and I think that's the key for the long term. You know, the whole give me a fish and I eat today, teach me to fish and I feed myself the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the key. Teach me the method. Using RA as an example. So many people don't understand what products to look for. Everybody knows go look at the clearance. But if I watch these people and learn the kind of items they're finding and where they're finding them and what kind of things to look out for, I can be much more successful by learning that versus saying, getting that BOLO list.
Yeah.
You know, it potentially eliminates some of your competition if you're finding things. I know Tommy's talked about the little grocery store you source sometimes.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, yeah, Mary, exactly. She said, made one mention of checking out my car on a live last night, and immediately, Bolo Buddies, not remember her first name, but jumped in and said to let her know if she needed help. That was so sweet. And there are a lot of people that are willing to offer any help they can. But you never know with anybody, but don't be afraid to reach out to somebody in the community and say, hey, I know you know a lot about this. I'm thinking about this, or what do I do in this situation? Worst case, they can say no. And if that's the case, you just move on to somebody else. Don't take it personal. You know? Mary Courtney, okay. I know I've watched her a couple of times that y'all did your stuff the other night. Courtney, okay. Oh, Mary, okay. She was saying Mary Courtney from it was her name. Okay. Courtney, I gotta remember that. Wow.
See, I gotta say, I think my biggest holdback is, you know, it's probably just my time management, the actual time that I spend doing what I should be doing. I can sit on here and I can advise and suggest to people everything that I think would work for them to improve their business. I just don't practice it myself.
There's a simple explanation for that. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm the same way. I'm very guilty of that. You know.
Yep. I know what I should do. I know it needs to be done. I know how to do it. There's not a financial thing that's stopping me from listing everything in this basement. It's already paid for, so that's not financial. It's just actually kicking myself in the rear end and doing it.
All right. Well, that being said, I've always liked, I don't know if y'all have ever been Valerie the Chick Picker. About twice a week, they do a listing challenge where people put up like $2 a piece. And I'm not saying let's do this, but just kind of thinking out, you know.
Yeah.
My problem is getting going. If I start listing, I can list and list and list.
Yeah.
The fact of sitting down and starting is my challenge. Is there any value in I hate to say working hangout, but doing something to incentivize us to work?
I've thought about that too, of maybe starting a group, like an accountability group.
Right.
You know, where we all say this is what we want to accomplish today or this week or whatever, and check in. And
I don't see why we couldn't do that in our Facebook group. You know,
yeah,
like
and that way, you know, because if you tell somebody, yeah, I want to get 50 listings up this week, you ain't gonna want to go in there week after week and be like, well, I only did 10.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure. And we should do that. Like by the end of this episode, we'll just one of us start a thread in the Facebook group saying, "Hey, this is our goal for the day. This is our goal for the weekend. Whatever." I mean, weekend might be a little bit better, being that today's Friday. You know, let's get this thing started off right.
Right.
You know.
yeah.
Kathy said it actually gets I actually get a lot done with company on live working hangouts. I see that from a viewer's perspective. I think if we're doing it live and we're doing a show, not a show with a topic, but even if we're sitting here working, you have that similar that idea of I've got to keep a conversation going. I've got to pay attention to chat. I've got to do this.
I find the more people that are on, the easier it gets, though, because say we have 5-6 people in right now.
Right.
I'm not really trying to focus too much on conversation because it's just naturally going to flow, because between 5 people, somebody's going to run their mouth and it'll make it a lot easier.
Right. I'm open to do that kind of stuff. I like those.
Yeah.
I think I like the accountability idea in the Facebook group. I think that's something we definitely need to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I feel like if I'm face to face with somebody and I haven't listed something in 30 minutes and I've said I'm going to get 100 things listed today, somebody needs to call me out. And it's not just about me. I'm just talking in general.
Right.
And it's a lot different to say at the end of the day, I got to post something in a Facebook group. And it's I don't think it's easy to keep people accountable sometimes, because you're afraid that I don't want to say something or make them mad, or I don't want to, call them out, whatever. But I think that's what you have to do. You have to do that if you're wanting true accountability with this kind of situation,
Right. And see, it's real easy for somebody to call me out because, like I say, I share my story. I have it linked in the description. And if I say, hey, I'm going to list 15 things today, people can go and look and see if I listed my 15 things.
Yeah.
Right.
Same here.
But really, if you're sitting down, if you've got a group of say 5 or 6 people, even if we're not live, and we're all listing, and you're the only one sitting there playing in the chat, or I think it could have a positive effect across the board. If I ever get started on listing, I can usually sit there and list and do fine. That's the listing is my biggest challenge.
Yeah, mine too.
And
it's getting started. It's like once I'm into like 3 listings, then I can just keep going and I'm like on a flow. But it's just starting.
Yeah.
It seems like we're a lot alike. That's my challenge. It's so much easier for me to pick up the phone, watch a video, and YouTube is very smart with their whole suggested videos. What's up next?
Yeah.
You're watching Netflix. You can watch a whole season of something on Netflix without raising your head or moving your phone. They just make it so easy to binge watch anything.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we've kind of gotten sucked into that, It's tough. But I'm open to any kind of working hangouts, live or not live, if we want to try and help with that. I know it would help me, but again, it's not all about me. It's what's best for everybody,
Yeah. I'll probably do a little listing tonight. Ash goes into work for a few hours tonight, so I'll probably be trying to get something done.
That's
cool. Over the next 2 days, I got to get quite a bit listed because, like I say, we're leaving Sunday.
Yeah.
I probably ain't gonna be near my. Well, I have my computer with me, but I'm not going to be near my inventory until Wednesday.
Right.
So
you should take some pictures. Luckily, I had a bunch of toy pictures in my phone. So the other day when I was down for the count, I was able to list like 14 or 15 action figures because I had some pictures taken in my phone. I normally don't do that, so it was weird that I decided to do that. You know what I mean? That week where I just, I had a box and I wanted to get it out of the way and put away, so I just hurried up and took pictures of all the toys that I had stored in that box.
See, that's one of my struggles too, and it'd probably be much more efficient to, like I have this tote to hats, to go through and photo 20 hats and then just sit down and list them. But for some reason, that is just so uncomfortable for me to do it like that.
I typically don't. I just had no room to move my chair, so I said, "The heck with it! I'm just going to photo these and put this up on a shelf and forget about it until something sells from it." And I knew I didn't have time to sit there and list everything, so I just snap. Took pictures of all of it, and then the other day, whenever I was in bed pretty much the whole day, I literally just sat there on my phone going through and listing each one of those things I had pictures for.
So I know we've talked about a lot of things as far as what's holding you back, but I think a lot of it's been around eBay, right? Majority of what we talked about. Do you think you have anything holding you back on these other platforms that's different than eBay? You know, the sourcing and all that potentially with eBay, Amazon, Mercari, or I can see Mercari, eBay, you know, kind of having the same challenges potentially. Do you think you have any additional challenges when it comes to Amazon or other?
I would say priority, because right now eBay is my priority. So I'm going to dump the majority of my time into eBay. So that's the biggest thing. Like, why is my Mercari not blowing up as much as eBay? Because I don't touch it as much as I do eBay. You know what I mean? I'm caressing my eBay account daily. You know, whereas Mercari, it's like, okay, well, if I'm in the car, I can cross post some stuff from eBay, or you know what I mean? Like if I'm not doing anything eBay related, then I'll mess with Mercari a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's
right.
I honestly think that's what holds me back on other platforms, is the fact that I'm so uber focused on eBay that I don't pay enough. I don't want to say I don't pay enough attention, but I just don't give the other platforms the care that I give to eBay. You know, and it's not always the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass is greener where you water it. You know what I mean? And I water eBay daily, and I might only water Mercari. You know, like I'll send out offers and stuff on Mercari daily, but as far as actually cross posting over there and doing new activity over there, I might do it 2 times a week. You know what I mean? If that.
Right. I know some of these cross post, whatever the List Perfectly or whatever it's called, is a decent tool, but I wish it was a lot easier. And I know they've still got some growing pains. I wish it was a lot easier to cross post.
Yeah, I do too.
If it had a machine learning, artificial intelligence to handle some of the situations, like the length of the title and all that stuff, where it was just hey, push a button and it's done. You know?
Yeah.
I think that'll help us a lot.
I think one thing that'll help too is once I get started with Amazon, like I kind of already in my mind have it planned out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to just do completely different inventory. I'm going to send it all in FBA for the most part. And that way it's just out of my hair, and what happens, happens. You know what I mean? That type of thing. If it doesn't work out, I'll bring it back, put it on eBay. But, and that I think I could definitely dedicate at least one day a week to, you know, sourcing, one day a week to packing and shipping, and then the rest of my time to eBay. You know what I mean? So I don't think that would be as challenging as, like, for example, Mercari. I don't have dedicated inventory that is on eBay. I'm essentially right now using my Mercari just for brand new stuff like RA finds, stuff like that, just to get it moved a little quicker, because it's typically sits a little bit longer than some of the other stuff I sell on eBay. So just have that ability to move it a little bit quicker. It's kind of the reason I started that. Plus, I've been wanting to get a Mercari for a long time, so I figured if I did it, I wanted to do it. If something sells, okay, I know that needs to come out of eBay, or I know that needs to come off of Mercari. So I chose something that I would know for a fact. Okay, that's an RA item, so that needs to come off of one or the other.
Right. I think there's a lot of commonalities between everything else besides Amazon. You know, they're all some of the challenges you might have. I think Amazon is just often its own little category, you know, with everything, you know,
for sure.
You're potentially sourcing a different type of product. You're potentially sourcing differently, not just what you're looking for, but where you source. You know, it's tough, you know, and I think it's hard if you want to scale Amazon. It's hard to scale Amazon real high while you're still using eBay as your primary platform. You know, I've never been real high on Amazon. I've done okay on Amazon. I've not gone out and just done weeks and weeks and weeks of RA and pumped, you know, 15 boxes a month in, you know.
Yeah.
I primarily sold books over there with a handful of one-offs. And even just going out and doing books and trying to manage that at the same time of eBay being my primary platform is challenging.
Yeah.
You know? Somebody said something a minute ago, and I was Mary McQueen says, I can't seem to shake my fear of trying Amazon. It's completely irrational. I actually did merch for a while, but then I remembered I have no creative talent at all. I'm with you there, Mary. I have no creative talent at all. I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. But yeah, I think that's one thing that holds people back. I know Anthony is wanting to jump into it. Tommy's talked about it. It seems like Tommy's wanting to do a little more research on it before he gets into it.
My biggest holdback with Amazon was eBay. I do everything through PayPal. PayPal is my business account.
Right.
And I didn't want to mix business with personal account. So my holdback was not having a business account for Amazon to deposit into, which I'm hoping by end of day today that will be taken care of.
Cool. TC Sales is asking, have I been looking into other sources of income for PayPal? I mean, really, to be honest with you, D, the only other thing I really do currently through PayPal is auctions. You know, if I go on with T or I go on with Derek, I'll, you know, basically send invoices through PayPal and get paid through PayPal for that stuff. I haven't really, to be honest with you, looked into too much else yet. I mean, I probably will, you know, but just like Tommy said, I do plan on opening up a business bank account just for the purposes of Amazon once I get flow in there, because I don't want to have to mess with our personal bank account for that, just like he said. Because I know for a fact, you know, Ash is so meticulous with our bank account, it would throw her off. I don't even mess with our bank account.
Well, if you are an LLC, if you break that division between your personal and your business, it limits some of your liability a lot.
Absolutely.
You just got to be careful with that.
I am trying to do that as well.
You know, one source of income for PayPal, just viewers just send you money just for the heck of it, you know? I'm kidding. I would never want y'all to do that.
Nate just said the only way it's hard to build Amazon inventory up is because it sells so fast. So
that'd be a good problem to have, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, being that I have personal friends that do really well on Amazon that are going to be kind of like being training wheels for me during this time. Like I'm not worried about starting Amazon. I know like the character of the people that are helping me wouldn't just like kind of lead me astray. So I'm confident that it'll be a success. It's just, for me, matching up schedules. Like I know Nate's pretty flexible. It's just trying to make sure that I have time to allot to it right now, especially with everything that I'm trying to process from New England. It's just been like consuming my life for the most part.
Yep. Nate talking about how inventory sells so fast, and Tommy, you said that's a positive, that's a good thing, good problem to have. I think it's a good problem to have if you're selling a lot of replenishables. You know, it's potentially a good problem to have because you can immediately just go back and restock. You know, if you're out there chasing items or buying clearance and stuff like that, it becomes more of a challenge because you're back out there, you know, scanning items. It's not just you go to a store and you pick up this item. You know, it's tough. Wow. One of the things with Amazon is that people who tank the price. I'm stubborn and don't play the race to the bottom. That's what Kelly says. It's tough, you know, and it's different. And I can understand why some people do it. Again, not to use the whole level word, but people are in different points of their journey in reselling, whether that's Amazon, eBay, whatever, you know, and some people can let their money stay out there longer than other people can. Am I looking down on somebody that tanks the price? No, because I don't know what their situation is. You know, does it have an impact on somebody else that's selling that same product? Yes. You know, everybody's different, though.
Yeah.
All right, D, good to see you. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks for hanging out, D.
I don't know. It's tough because I can see both sides of that argument with, you know, dropping prices to move product. I mean, I've been in that situation before.
Yeah.
Cash flow's suffering. I run a bigger sale.
Yep.
You know?
Same thing.
In the end, not that I'm trying to be depersonalize it, but in the end, I've got to worry about myself. I've got to worry about my family. You know, and I don't want you to think that I don't care about people. But in the end, that's what matters is can I put food on my table?
Yeah.
You know? And I've got to do whatever it takes to do that.
Yep.
You know? I hate to look at it that way, but I really think everybody's got to look at it that way, you know?
Yeah, makes sense.
But, so anything big going on today? We don't know if Derek's going to do his stuff, if his race tonight. Anything else going on tonight or today?
Like I say, I just got a whole bunch of listing I got to get done. I'm going to run over to the bank. So that way, when I go sourcing this weekend, I can hopefully source some Amazon too.
If you need a deposit slip, I'll send you one.
Oh, okay.
You don't even have to write the account number on it. It's pre-printed. Yeah, I don't know. Derek's stuff on Fridays about the only thing that I really have on my radar on Fridays on YouTube.
Yeah. There's a good bit that happens on Fridays, as far as like live shows and stuff like that. So pretty much Derek's race. I know Thrift Mind sometimes does their live. I don't know if they've been doing it every week anymore. Donatella has auctions, her and T.
Oh yeah, I forgot they did it on Friday.
Yep. Kimmy sometimes does the crazies come out at night. So it's just one of those things where, I'm not entirely sure what's happening, but if people aren't on live, maybe I'll do a working hangout. If they are on live, maybe I'll just work while I listen. I don't know yet.
What's going on, Tony? How are you, Rusted Raccoon?
What's up, Tony?
Yeah, I've got to get some stuff listed. I've had every reason not to do it this week, seems like.
Yeah.
And that's what I struggle with so much. It proves itself every time. When I sit down and get a good number of things listed, things sell.
Yeah.
And then life gets in the way and I don't list and things don't sell.
Yep.
So I know that I've got to do it. It's just a matter of doing it,
Yeah.
Golly, it kills me. It gets back to that easier said than done. I can talk about it and know that that's what I got to do, but dang it, just sitting down and doing it is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Lynn. Good morning to you.
Y'all had any big sales this week? Anything that's notable to bring up?
Nothing in our area. There is nothing exciting going on around here.
Yeah, it's not real excitable over here in Pittsburgh either.
What about eBay sales? Anything that you've sold?
Anything that we've sold. Nothing like too exciting. It's just been a lot of bread and butter stuff.
Right. And sometimes you have those weeks, those days,
Can't see it now, but I just sold a Wally. It's like a remote control Wally.
Wally.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
cool.
Good show.
Picked that up at the Benz with Derek.
That's cool.
So
I sold a pretty cool. I don't know if I talked about it the other day or not. I did not have it. It lasted like 3 days. It was a dang 3G cell phone signal booster. I was surprised it sold so quick. I listed it as untested, and I think I paid either 99 cents or $1.99 for it and got like 40. That was always nice.
I just had one for the house.
Yeah. Was it the AT&T one?
No, it was this one.
I see a lot of the AT&T
box because it was cheaper.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen that.
I just sold a pretty good router the other day.
I paid 50 cents for it.
50 cents.
Yep, at a rummage sale. And what the heck did it sell for? I don't even remember. I know I was happy.
I guess at least 20, 25 or better, probably, right?
Yeah.
I would think that would be minimum. I've sold either one or two of the little AT&T ones. It looks just like a little cable modem, but it's got the white and orange AT&T colors. But even those, I'm surprised some of that older stuff, the 3G and even 4G stuff, still sells.
Yep.
Matt, BK Vending and Flipping says, just sold a Harley jacket for $75. Wow.
Nice. He'll be on with us next Friday.
Yep.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, it sold for $44.97.
Yeah, I figured it was probably in that range. I think the ones I've sold, I've gotten 39 to 50. I've only sold 2 of them, I think. And usually you can get them at the thrift store. Not that cheap, but at the thrift store I can get them for $3.99, $4.99. The AT&T ones. Tony says Thursday was a hot on eBay. We need more resigning. You'd be amazed at how much current topics, current things like that can affect spending.
Yeah.
You know?
I just want to do a poll in chat real quick, just because this kind of goes back to the conversation that we had the other day about promoted listings. I don't really want to dig into the conversation too deep because there's just a back and forth on it. I'm just curious in chat on who's doing promoted listings and who's not. So just put a 1 if you do promoted listings, 2 if you don't, and we'll just leave it at that. So 1 for promoted listings, 2 if you don't do promoted listings.
Nice. Yeah, it's amazing that there's still videos out there that people are throwing punches on that whole situation, you know? It's crazy.
I can't speak from experience, but because I've never had the issue where my promoted listings were affected, but I'm pretty sure that they got that fixed by now.
I got a screenshot from somebody yesterday on Facebook message that showed where an individual item was showing up both as sponsored or promoted and the organic normal listing. Which I don't think it's supposed to do, right?
Not according to what I've been hearing.
Right.
I haven't had an issue with mine. I guess that's really all I can say about it. Because I'm sure there are some people that are still having problems that I can't speak to, but
right.
I've been fine with mine.
Paul gave us a 1/2. He says he's going to do them on a limited basis.
Yeah,
overall, I have a feeling it's probably just split 50-50 if I had to guess.
Yeah, it looks pretty close. I think promoted might, just in our little poll here, just a hair over, but
oh yeah, I was just talking pretty equal in chat. Meyer says organic is healthier. In my opinion, that's where you need to be. You know, in my opinion, concentrate on the best match. But you know, everybody's different. But we're supposed to be back on my channel. I haven't had any ideas on Monday's topic yet. Y'all got any ideas? Or anybody having any ideas in the chat of anything they'd want to talk about on Monday?
Let's see what chat has.
We'll talk about Q&A.
Just do a question and answer again. Is that what he said? Okay.
Yeah.
We do that.
Question and answers are always kind of fun because then chat just kind of pretty much lets us know what do you want to talk about that day.
You know, I really talking about those kind of shows. Maybe we need to schedule some more. I don't want to say non-topic, you know, shows where we just kind of come in and just. We've done several shows that have been at great times. You know, what do you do outside of your reselling? I think we did one day or whatever. I don't remember what the topic was. But we kind of spent a lot of time talking about that. The whole you might be a reseller if.
Right.
You know, I think those were good shows. They weren't overly informative, but they were a lot of fun, I think. You know, I don't want to dominate our schedule with those, but I think it'd be nice to do some of those kind of more laid back, relaxed, you know, kind of shows, I think. Don't y'all think?
Yeah, I like those myself. You know, just general conversation and topic. Even when we do pick a topic, a lot of times it don't even stay on topic. We go somewhere else with it anyways. You know?
True. Mary says, I've been hearing a lot about pay-per-click. I'm not sure what to think about it. So you get charged even if they don't buy it, right? So pay-per-click is exactly what it sounds like. You don't pay for somebody's. Oh, I got a hair on the brim of my hat. It's bothering me. You don't pay for somebody seeing your ad or seeing whatever you're promoting. You pay a certain number of cents. It's almost like an auction. You're bidding on showing up against other people that are trying to promote the same item or in the same category. And if a viewer clicks on your ad, you pay that number of cents. It's your challenge to convert them from a click into a sale. You know? Whereas the promoted listing, you only pay if they click and they order.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference in the two. And pay-per-click works on Amazon as well as eBay.
And that's it on the promoted. That's if the order within 30 days. They don't even have to purchase it from that click.
Right.
If they click on your promoted listing and look at it and say, "Oh, I'm going to add this to my watch list," and come back 3 weeks later and buy it, you're still paying that promoted listing fee.
Myra says, "Who should be the next CEO of eBay? Who's in the running? But that is not a relaxed show." Well, I posted in the Facebook group, that I got an email from a recruiter about it. No. Yeah, exactly. Pay-per-click has been around for a long time. It's very common out there in the internet world, outside of even e-commerce. But, wow. We can do a Q&A if that's what y'all want to do, talking about Monday. Anything else? I know we've had a list kind of going, but I think we've hit a lot of those topics, hadn't we, over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah. I always, for the most part, Thursdays, I try to make that a topic that the chat has suggested.
Okay.
So I very seldom, not that I'm not trying to be creative with it, but I want to make sure that this is a show about the people, not about us. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure. Y'all want to call it quits about 10:15? I think we're losing steam.
Yeah. Call it quits whenever you want, man.
What have you thought any more about the whole Instagram thing, Tommy? I know we talked about it briefly.
No, I mean, I would love to do it. I would love to just, maybe we could do that for some of our working hangout, even, just go in there. I believe it's limited. It's either 45 minutes or 60 minutes. But if we wanted to do like a 3-hour hangout, we could just go boom, 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 on each other's.
Yeah. Cool. What if we started it on Instagram and said, "Hey, follow us over to this YouTube channel. Get some more people there."
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I'm still waiting on one more person to become that illustrious number 700.
Are you? What? You're 699?
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least you're not 666. That's good.
Yeah, thank the Lord for that.
Wow. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Might be a good thing to look into. Yeah, Kathy, we were talking in our little private message group about trying to promote the show using Instagram. You can go live over there. There are some limitations, but just trying to bring some people in. I've got 700 or so followers on Instagram. I know some of y'all in the chat are following over there, and I appreciate that. But I've also got some people that follow me over there that are not viewers of the show, or not watching my channel a lot. And I think we're going to try and bring some of those people in. So if y'all are not following us, I'm going to drop my link for my Instagram. Y'all go ahead and do the same thing if you got yours, Tommy. Anthony, you got Instagram? Go ahead and drop it while you got a chance. No, stop.
Kelly Mom has a question. She says, "I have a buyer that wants to buy 3 of my items. How do I combine it? Make a new listing with them all together?" Are you talking on eBay or like Mercari or something? I know on Mercari you have to create a new listing.
I think if eBay, if they buy all 3 of your items, it will automatically do the combined shipping, won't it?
Yep, it'll group them together.
Right.
Under one shipping, and then if they pay right away, if you feel you want to refund them the difference, like if you have an agreement with them to combine shipping for a cheaper rate or something, you can either refund them the difference or tell them to do it and not pay and send them an adjusted invoice.
Andy Hudsonite. I just helped Marie and Pittsburgh get to their goals, 200 and 700. Nice.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Good deal.
All right. I just dropped my Instagram in there.
Yeah, so y'all be sure you follow us on Instagram. We're definitely going to be jumping on that pretty quickly.
We can do something this afternoon if you guys are available, because like I say, I'm just going to be working.
I'll be available later afternoon.
Okay, that'll be
like maybe I don't know, like 5:30. I should be available.
Oh, that would actually be good because then I'd get my post office out of the way. I can do my bank thing, and
yeah,
that'd be great.
I've got to get my wife to work at about 3, so that's
So anybody that would want to see us do the test run on Instagram, make sure you head over there and subscribe to us.
Yep.
Kelly, talking about those 3 items, one option you have is I think you can create promotions where you offer free shipping as a promotion if they order 3 or more items or something like that. I don't do it often. I think you have that ability, and I think you can run that promotion on those items specifically. I know you can do a reduction, and I'd have to look at it, but that may be an option. I've also had a situation where I've had somebody like that where we've gone back and forth. Hey, I'll buy these 3 things if you'll do this. And I'm like, okay, make this offer on this item, just work out the numbers right. You take less on one item. Overall, it comes out to be $50 across the board, You just kind of got to be creative with your offer situation.
Yeah.
Cool. Will it just be on Instagram? We're looking into, and I don't know if we can do this or not, taking that Instagram feed of that live show, that stream, whatever, and bringing it over to the YouTube channel and publishing it there. I don't know if we can do that kind of thing or not.
I believe we could. Well, I don't know. We'll have to look.
Yeah, we're going to have to look into it.
I don't want to see the wrong thing, so.
I agree.
Yeah, depending on who's live, too, we might just bounce over to YouTube afterwards, too.
Right.
Just trying to bring in a few extra or some different people that haven't been exposed to the show.
Yeah.
So.
What's up, Cliff? Where you been? I've been waking up in the middle of the night and not seeing you. Usually that's what I watch in the middle of the night when I wake up.
Should be down there listing. Quit watching YouTube
tonight.
Yeah, I haven't seen Cliff in a while. Maybe he's been over there in that corner with the lights out printing with his 3D printer. All right.
Anthony, you got an Instagram link?
Yeah, I dropped it.
Yeah, he dropped it. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Although I just put the name, I didn't put the actual link to it. Maybe that's what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Let me pop open to Instagram here. Grizzle. In the words of Derek, Instagramish.
I'm not either. I haven't gotten the whole flow of it yet. I'll post stuff every now and then. I'm still trying to figure it out. The Twitter makes sense to me. Facebook makes sense to me. Instagram, I'm trying to get the whole.
Yeah, I dropped mine in there again for anybody that might have missed it.
All right, so I got mine now. Go ahead and drop it.
I'm supporting a massive 629 followers over there.
I don't even know what I have. I honestly just use it as a place to store all of my dog and cat pictures.
Nice. All right.
Oh, yeah. You definitely want to see some cute pictures. Look at Anthony's Instagram.
Yep.
Him and his cute little fur babies.
Yep.
All right. So then I suppose we're probably going to cut her off.
Yep.
And we'll see people later on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate it.
I don't know how smoothly the first one will run because it'll be our first time doing it. I mean, I've been on an Instagram live chat before, but I've never ran it on my end.
Since it's going to be you said it has to be mobile, correct?
Yeah, you gotta do it. I mean, people can watch it on their computers, but for us to stream it, we have to be on a phone or tablet or something.
With that being the case, I may do that upstairs, and then as we transition to YouTube, I may come downstairs to work.
No.
Because I have a nice little charging station by my couch.
Oh, all right. Whatever works. I'll probably do it off my tablet because then I can move around if I am working, with it.
Cool. You say that's my followers on Instagram, Myra 663. Hoping that isn't on YouTube. That would be a drastic.
All right. Okay, so with that, I guess we'll We'll see everybody Monday on Land Sharks channel.
Yep.
Or later this afternoon on Instagram.
Somewhere.
Everybody have a great, wonderful, pleasant weekend. Be productive. If you have plans to enjoy yourself to the fullest.
Yep.
And everybody have a great day. Peace.
Hey guys.